Okay, so now let's take a slightly different problem. So, so we have a single resource and we have a set of n requests, and they want to use the resource for an interval of time. Now, what is different from the previous problem? So they don't have a fixed SI and FI. It's not fixed. So think about, so this was needed for a class, like I want a class at 10 and to 11. But suppose my requests are like, I want to run my code on a server. So that time you are not saying I want to start at this and finish it. Still you want to say, okay, it will take some TI time. So how much time it will take? So it can be the length of the job. And other thing that you would need something like a deadline. Okay, by when do you need to finish this? Okay, so and assume that I have a single resource and is available. The resource is available from time s, some time s. Okay. So you see the setting is more flexible. You don't have a fixed SIFI, but what you have is something called a deadline for each resource, each request, and what is the time. And what is important is that you need a contiguous time. And of course, like in the previous case, you can only run one request at a time. So different requests must be assigned non-overlapping intervals. Fine. Okay, that is a problem setting. Now, what is an objective? What is your goal? So you can actually have multiple different types of goals, but let's try discussing one particular goal. So so you see, there's a server, many people are putting their code, and generally they want to satisfy everyone. So suppose we want to satisfy each request. But if you want to satisfy each request, you see what is the problem? You may not be able to meet deadlines for everyone. You may not be able to meet deadlines for everyone. So for example, some person says, I have a code for uh, 2 hours. I want it by time 2. Another say I have a code for 3 hours. I want it by time 4. Okay. So you can easily see I cannot satisfy both. If I run this guy first, he will finish before deadline, up to deadline. But then I will start running this person, it will go past deadline. On the other hand, if I take this first, the first person will run after deadline. So that means uh, you cannot satisfy each request while also meeting the deadline. So you have to be flexible in that. So you say, okay, I want to satisfy each request, but we are allowed to let certain requests run late. Okay. So fine, some request can be late. So then what will happen? So I have a start time S, and after start time, I will have to schedule all the requests at some point of time. So I have to schedule all the requests. So any request I will start at some time SI in FI. Okay. So in the previous problem, SI and FI was given in the problem itself. But now this SI and FI, they have to be determined by the algorithm. And all the requests have to be put somewhere. Okay, and they should be put and as a disjoint manner. Okay, some sure. And FI, how once you know SI, FI has a clear thing because they run for TI time. So FI is nothing but SI plus TI. Sure. But now what is the problem? So if a request misses the deadline, you see it becomes late. So we say that a request I is late if it misses the deadline. So what will happen in that case? Fi would be greater than di. So I can define the lateness. So the lateness Li. So this would be 0 if I finish it before the deadline. Okay. Otherwise, it will be Fi minus di. Otherwise, that's how I can define my lateness. If I get finish it before deadline, it's 0. Otherwise, Fi minus di. So now I can define the goal of my optimization in terms of the lateness. So one natural goal could be I want to schedule everyone and I don't want to dissatisfy someone hugely. Okay. So that means I keep on finding the lateness. So lateness for 1, lateness for 2, lateness for n. And I don't want anyone to become very, very late. So I take the max of this and I want to minimize the maximum lateness. Okay. So let me put it inverse. The goal of our optimization would be to schedule all requests using non-overlapping intervals so as to minimize the maximum lateness. And what is that? Max of I Li. Okay, that is my objective. So yes. So I have a single machine. I am scheduling all the jobs. Let's take a single example to make this point clear. So let's say I have 3 jobs. So I have job 1, job 2, job 3. So job 1 has a time Ti is equal to 1 and its deadline is 2. Job 2, say Ti is equal to 2 and Di is equal to 4. And job 3, so Ti is equal to 3 and say Di is equal to 6. Okay. And one possible way I can schedule is that I put job 1, then I put job 2, and then I put job 3, and their times are also this. So they finish at 1, 2, 3, and 3, 6. Okay. So you see job 1 finishes before deadline, job 2 finishes before deadline, yes, and job 3 finishes before deadline. So in this schedule, L is here. But suppose I do another, the reverse ordering. So I can say 3, 2, 1. So 3 finishes at 3, 2 finishes at 5, and 1 finishes at 6. So you see 3 has a lateness, so deadline is 6, so no lateness is fine. 2 deadline was 4, so lateness is 1, and 1 deadline was 2, lateness is 4. So L, the maximum of this is 4. So you see you are minimizing the maximum lateness in this case. So this is actually an optimal solution. The lateness is here. Okay, and that's what you want to minimize. And this is not an optimal solution. So now can we design a greedy algorithm for solving this task? You see, what is the data do we have at our disposal? So we need to look at this TID I did. So now I can design various greedy approaches. So let's try to design approaches and see whether they look correct, whether I can find a counterexample. So let's design three approaches. So first approach. So you see, I can always say, okay, various jobs has various times. Why don't I schedule them as per their time? So the one that was a minimum require minimum time, I put it first. Then the one that require more time, then the one that requires more time. Looks fine in this case, right? So I can say schedule the jobs in increasing order of their length. So what you are doing? So you're saying, okay, so get the shorter job out of the way sooner. Okay. Now, does that look good to you? So first thing we should do, okay, things, think, okay, can I find a counterexample? That is, if I use this greedy property where I take the job within the minimum time, minimum length, this would give me a much higher rate. So that can happen when you have a job that is very, very short, but this deadline is far. Okay, think about a short, very short job, but deadline is far. Versus you have a longer job, but deadline is strict. Okay, and in the greedy choice, you will take the shorter one. But that because the deadline is far, here deadline is strict, it may cause lateness. So let's try. So a shortage of a deadline far. So let's say your T1 is 1 and D1 is 100. A longer job, say T1 is 10 and deadline is strict, say D1 is 10. Just strict that way. Now, with your greedy choice, what you will do, you will choose job 1 first and then job 2. Okay, so job 2 will finish, job 1 will finish at time 1, much more deadline, no problem. Job 2 will finish at time 11, deadline is 10, so lateness is 1. So your L is 1, maximum lateness. But what would be an optimal solution? Suppose I reverse the order. So suppose I put job 2 first and then job 1. So I put the job 2 first, it finishes in time, you see. So 10 and 10 deadline, so fine. And if I put job 1 later, it finishes time 11, but its deadline is far, so that is still fine for it. And this L is becomes 0. So that means this particular greedy choice is not an optimal solution. So this is not an optimal choice. We could see a counterexample. So fine, let's think of other strategies. So what can you think now? So you see one thing we can see here, this deadline was very strict. Yes. So why don't I look at this time, the DI minus TI? Let's call it something called a slack time. Okay. So if a job does not have say very small slack time, so then I have to possibly schedule that first. And this has a very large slack time. This deadline is far, so I can be relaxed. Yes. So now I can define my approach to. So that means, so we are concerned about jobs whose available slack time di minus ti is very small. So then why don't you schedule in increasing order of slack time? And that we have seen works perfectly fine for this example, right? So this has slack 0, this is slack 99, do job 2, then job 1. That was the optimal solution. Okay. But yeah, that does not mean this approach is optimal, right? You cannot use an example to show it is optimal. So now, why don't you think of a counter example? So can we think of a counter example? Okay. So I think the counter example should be such that there is a job with a very small slack, okay, but there's another job with has a more slack is higher, but deadline is earlier. So something like a job with say 0 slack, but deadline later, and there's a job with higher slack, but deadline is earlier. So what would happen? You will finish this without lateness, but when you start finishing this, even though it's like much higher, this deadline meant you crossed this particular deadline. So something like, let's say I have, so T1 is 10, D1 is 10, okay, and another job, say T2 is 1 and D2 is 1. So it's like it's, sorry, then slack becomes 0. Why don't we make it 2? D2 is 2. Okay, so slack 0, slack 1. Now what will happen with your greedy property? It will put job 1 and then job 2. So job 1, if it does first, its slack is, sorry, its lateness, because it will finish at time, is 0, fine. Then it will do job 2, but now job 2 will finish at 11, its deadline was 2. So it has 9, so L is 9. What would be the optimal choice? Why don't I do job 2 first and job 1 then? So if I do job 2 first, I finish before deadline, fine. If I then do job 1, I finish at 11, that is later in deadline, but the lateness is only 1. Okay, so L is 1. So clearly, this greedy solution does not give me an optimal solution. Okay, so this is also not correct. So, okay, so we took two approaches, one where we took them as per their TI, another where DI minus TI. Both we could not get an optimal solution. We found a counterexample. Now, what could be the other approach? So, well, we are looking at TI, DI data. We try smallest TI. We tried smallest DI minus TI. Why don't we try smallest DI? So, my third approach would be that we take the job with the shortest deadline first. So approach 3, choose job with the earliest deadline. Okay, so now, does this approach work at least on the previous two examples? Otherwise, if it doesn't, we already found a counterexample. So in example 1, choose the job with the earliest deadline. Yes. So I choose job 2, job 1, and that was the optimal solution. Yes, its deadline was earlier. Fine. The second solution, again, its deadline was earlier. So I can choose job 2, then job 1. Again, this was the optimal solution. So this works in both the cases at least. So intuitively also this looks fine. I take the job that is having an earlier deadline and finish it first. Okay. But yeah, is that actually a correct solution? Is that actually an optimal solution? So let's try to see. So what do we do in this approach? So you sort the jobs in increasing order of deadlines. D1 up to Dn, and schedule in this order. And accordingly, you can define their start and finish time. Yes, sure. So suppose starting at S, then this is S plus T1, and this is D2 starts immediately. So plus T2 and so on. Okay. So, and you don't want to keep any slack in between. You don't want to wait. Why? What is the point of waiting? Because all the requests are with you. So you will put them one after another. So there is no idle time. If there is an idle time, you can always find a schedule that is better than that by removing the idle time. So you have to put the jobs one after another. So you can even say what is the finish time? S plus summation Ti. That is the final finish time. Okay. Now, so your greedy choice will give you the jobs in this order as per their deadlines. D1, then D2, and up to Dn. Now, how do you prove that is optimal? So for that, you have to show that the optimal solution. So, so there will be an optimal solution. So, so that will be a schedule. Yes, it's a schedule. And what, for example, what is something you can prove that that can say that your greedy solution is correct? Something like, okay, in the optimal solution, so a job with earlier deadline should come, should be scheduled before a job with a later deadline. Okay. Or, or more formally, what you can do, you can define something called an inversion. So you can define something called an inversion. So you say that a schedule A prime has an inversion if a job I with deadline di, so you have two jobs, job I with deadline di, another is job j with deadline dj. So when will be inversion? If dj is smaller than di, but I is scheduled before j. So that is a job I with deadline di is scheduled before another job j with deadline dj that is less than d. Okay, so job I comes before j, but if the deadlines are di and dj, so di is larger than dj. So then it is an inversion, right? And then you say that by definition, my greedy algorithm does not have any inversion. Fine. So now, if you can prove, so there is an optimal solution or optimal schedule with no inversions. Then you are done. Okay. If you can prove that there is an optimal solution schedule with no inversions, then you are done. That means it has to be same as the greedy solution. Except that, yeah, some jobs may have the same deadline that you can put in any order, but then you can also interchange and make it greedy, right? So if it is has no inversion, you can change it to greedy. Without compromising optimality. So now what we have to prove, there is an optimal schedule with no inversions. Okay. So fine. So how do we proceed in greedy proof? So let's assume an optimal solution and assume it has an inversion. So let O be an optimal schedule and let O has an inversion. So if O has an inversion, what would happen? So there is a job. So what would happen? So there would be job A and job B. A is scheduled before B, but DA, deadline of A, is greater than DB. So there is a job A scheduled before job B with DA is greater than DB. Okay. And see, these may not be contiguous. So between A and B, there may be some other jobs scheduled. But at least they are one pair that is having this property. So yeah, so A and B can be far, but we can just do something so that I have a pair of inversion that is contiguous. So that is actually easy. So because A has a deadline that is higher than B, that means if I start from A and go up to B, okay, so something like that, they will keep on increasing at some point. It may not even increase, but at some point they will start decreasing. Okay, so it need not be like that. Also, it can be actually topsy-turvy. Yes, but what you can say, if you have to go from A to B, there will be one point where it will decrease for the first time. Okay, it can be any way, but at least at one point will decrease. Okay, so if we advance in the scheduled order of jobs from A to B, so there has to be a point at which the deadline decreases for the first time. Right, it has to be there. If because A has a higher deadline than B, so if you keep on going from A to B, there will be a point where the deadline will decrease for the first time. So, and this will be a consecutive pair of jobs. So this will be a consecutive pair of jobs. And this forms an inversion. So let's say ING. So we have come to that point. So we have IJ pair of, it's a pair of jobs that are inverted. Yes. So that means deadline of I is greater than deadline of J, but I is scheduled before. And they are consecutive. Yes. So now if we swap IJ, we can eliminate this inversion. So after swapping I and J, we get a solution with one less inversion. Okay. And if we can prove that the new schedule has maximum lateness no greater than that of O. that of the optimal solution, optimal scheduler. Then we can just keep on applying this argument for keeping or removing the inversions. So that is what we are saying. We came to the point where there are two consecutive pair of jobs scheduled with an inversion. If we swap them, this will eliminate one inversion. Okay, and the resultant schedule will, its maximum lateness will not increase. And then I can keep on doing that, and that's where I will reach to a point where I don't have any inversion, and that then I can go to a 3D solution. So that means, yeah. So this is what I need to prove. Fine. Fine. So let's take the schedule O. So I have the schedule O and assume that each request R is scheduled from SR to FR. Start time, finish time. And its lateness is LR. Okay. And let's say the maximum lateness is max over R LR. Okay. So maximum lateness of schedule O. Now let's find, let's remember how, what is the trick? I try to modify this O, right, to incorporate a greedy property. So let O prime denote the schedule where I swap I and J. Okay. So, so for this new schedule, let's say I put some bars to denote, let's say SR, S bar R, F bar R, and LR bar is the lateness for R, and L bar max of LR bar is the maximum lateness. Okay, correspondingly I defined L and L bar. I want to prove that L bar is not, L bar is less than equal to L. L bar cannot increase more than L. Sure. So what is happening now? So I have two jobs, I and J. So J has an earlier deadline than I, right? And in schedule O, I am scheduling job I, then I'm scheduling job J. In O prime, see everything else remains the same up to this point. But now I take job J first, and then I take job I. And if it's the same time, everything else remains. So this is before swap, this is after swap. Okay. So one thing we can clearly note, so all jobs other than I and J, they finish at the same time in both O and O prime. Finish at the same time in both these schedules. Okay, sure. So I can say L is max of L1, Li, Lj up to Lm. Okay, and L bar is max of L1 bar, Li bar, Lj bar, Ln bar. So what we are seeing, that apart from Li and Lj, everything else will be the same. Okay, so we will say that L R bar is same as LR if R is not equal to I or J. Okay, so that means I can say L bar is max of all things can go back to L without a bar, Li bar, Lj bar, and then up to L. Sure. Now an L was everything else same, only Li Lj. Now deadline of I comes large later than that of J. What can you say about job J? So in O prime, so you can say that job J finishes earlier in the new schedule, right? It was finishing here, now it is finishing earlier. So job J is finishing earlier. So what can you say about Lj bar? So that means Lj bar is strictly less than Lj. Okay, so Lj bar cannot be responsible for making L bar larger than L. Lj bar is strictly less than Lj. So Lj bar cannot be the culprit. Okay. The only culprit could be I. So I need to see what is, can Li bar increase so much that it is becoming larger than whatever the maximum lateness was earlier. So now for that, you see there is something interesting you can see in terms of their deadlines. Okay. So I has an earlier deadline, then I has a later deadline than J. Okay. So what was the lateness of J and O? So you can say lateness of J. So that was, so this is the finish time, Fj minus Dj. Now what will be the lateness of I in the new schedule? You see the I will finish at the same time as J was finishing earlier because I'm just swapping these. Okay, so I can just put back the same thing. It's Fj minus and deadline of I. Well, now what can you say about these two quantities? So you can see that because di is larger than dj, di is larger than dj, that means Li bar has to be smaller than Lj. That looks interesting. So what we are saying now, L bar, everything else is same except Li bar, Lj bar, and Lj bar is less than Lj, and Li bar is less than Lj. So that means L bar cannot be more than L. Yes, all the quantities are either same as a quantity in L or smaller than a quantity in L. So this proves swap does not increase L. Okay, and that is sufficient. So that means whenever you find an inversion, you do a swap and the solution you get is still optimal. It does not increase, uh, it does not. So It does not increase the lateness, maximum lateness. And you can keep on doing that whenever you find an inversion until there is no inversion. And at that point, the optimal schedule will be same as greedy, except for the points where their deadlines are same.